Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we are going on a really fascinating linguistic journey. We're going to explore the inescapable, heavy physical reality of the summer season. But we're not using thermometers or weather apps for this. Nope. We're looking at the bizarre, absolutely brilliant ways our brains actually try to describe the heat. We're diving into a sunlit lexicon of metaphors that literally capture what summer feels like. So, let me ask you, have you ever paid the sun tax? I mean, it's a wonderfully relatable concept, isn't it? It perfectly hits the nail on the head for that daily, totally unavoidable cost we pay in sweat and, that exhausting hunt for a patch of shade just to get from point A to point B. Sure, a weather report can tell us it's 90 degrees outside, but a phrase like the sun tax, well, that tells us what it actually costs us just to step out our front doors. So, what exactly are we looking at today? Well, we are exploring summer metaphors. Basically, these are direct names for the heat, the light, and the daily life of the warm months. And what makes them so incredibly effective is that they're built from completely common, everyday objects. See, because heat is invisible, it's this abstract thing, our brains have to map it onto physical things we can actually touch and hold. Doing that keeps the meaning crystal clear and, most importantly, totally visceral. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're looking at 1. The sunlit lexicon, 2. Short and sharp summer, 3. The daily heat, 4. Long metaphors, big scenes, and finally 5. Summer versus winter. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The sunlit lexicon. Before we look at the shortest, punchiest terms, it's absolutely crucial to remember how much our language and the specific words we choose actually shape our entire physical experience of the season. Section 2. Short and sharp summer. These are quick hits of meaning. They act as tight, punchy labels, using just one strong object to give us a really quick sting of meaning. Think about being out on the street right at high noon. The summer isn't just warm, right? It feels like this steady heat and incredibly strong light. In other words, it's a torch. That single word, matching the visual of a burning flame, it brilliantly represents that unyielding, blinding light just beating down on the pavement. Or imagine stepping into an unfinished attic in mid-July. You know the feeling. The heat feels totally dry, and you're baking in this thick, heavy air. Calling the summer a kiln instantly conveys that trapped, suffocating feeling where the heat just seems to radiate straight from the brick walls themselves. Then there's the light itself. It often feels really sharp and sudden. You know that exact moment when a thick cloud suddenly moves out of the way of the sun? That quick, blinding glare that makes you instantly squint? Yeah, that is perfectly captured by calling the summer a flare. And finally, we have the scorch. This perfectly captures that immediate, burning touch left on surfaces. It's that exact fraction of a second you put your bare hand on a hot car steering wheel and just instantly regret all your life choices. It's a quick sting. Now, from those fast words, let's transition over to some more complex, everyday situational phrases. Section 3. The daily heat. Here we're going to slow the rhythm down a bit and explore some general metaphors that really anchor the feeling of heat to our highly relatable daily human behaviors. Take a look at how we describe our environments. When we talk about the physical toll of the heat, we use phrases like sidewalk skillet, literally turning the ground into a hot pan, or a salt shirt, which, let's be honest, perfectly describes sweating right through your clothes. The light becomes a bright blanket covering everything, or lemon light for that sharp, sour yellow glare. And our escapes? Well, the pool magnet physically pulls us toward water, and the shade hunt turns a totally simple walk in the park into a high-stakes strategic game of survival. But here's the really crazy part. Summer doesn't just change our environment. It literally distorts our sense of time. A long noon describes how those midday hours just stretch out. The clock feels like it's completely stuck in the peak heat. And instead of a watch, we rely on a cicada clock, uniquely measuring the arrival of dusk by the steady, loud buzzing of insects. Our routines that totally hijacked by a picnic calendar of outdoor meals, and the school brick stamp places a clear, massive pause on our normal, everyday lives. Section 4. Long metaphors, big scenes. Now, let's really lean into the heavy, languid feeling of these expanded, cinematic visual images. So summer is a glass roof over the town at noon. I want to really draw your attention to this heavy imagery. It explains how sunlight feels like a clear cover, just trapping the heat inside. Imagine standing right in the middle of a town square, looking up and realizing you are stuck inside a sealed, clear heat dome where finding a breeze or any shade feels totally impossible. Or how about this? Summer is a slow cooker set on high in the city streets. If you've ever had to endure a heavy commute in July, you know this exact feeling. And this brilliantly illustrates the trapped warmth of the asphalt. The heat doesn't just hit you, it simmers. It builds from the ground up, making the air feel impossibly thick and exhausting to wade through. Summer is a thunder drum that rolls across flat fields. Notice how this shifts our focus completely from heat to sound. It perfectly captures the deep, resonant, traveling sound of a distant evening storm. You can practically feel that soft shaking of the window panes and that low vibration in your chest as the heavy air finally breaks. Section 5. Summer versus winter. For our final category, it's fascinating to note how the unique feeling of summer is often best defined by contrasting it against its absolute opposite. Consider space and temperature for a second. Summer is a hot roof. Winter is a cold floor. It makes so much sense, right? Summer feels high up, it's totally exposed and heated from above. Winter, on the other hand, feels low, deeply hard, and sends a chill right to the soles of your feet. Next, let's think about energy. Summer is a loud fire, and winter is a quiet ash. I mean, summer is relentlessly active. It's bright, it's noisy, it demands your attention, just like a blazing flame. And that dramatically clashes with the still, faded, completely silent nature of winter's ash, the quiet aftermath of that fire. Then we have motion. If summer is a fast-rushing river, winter is a frozen pond. The warm season just has this constant, running energy. Things are growing, the world is flowing quickly. But winter is locked in place. It's a paused, waiting stillness. And finally, think about the feeling of freedom. Summer swings open like a wide door, while winter forces you to peer through a narrow keyhole. Summer feels entirely open, full of free choices and endless long days. Winter strips that away, leaving you with a limited, closed-in feeling where you're basically just peeking out at the cold months. Which brings us to a really provocative question to end on today. Does naming the heat actually change how you experience it? Think about it. If we have the absolute perfect linguistic tools for our visceral experiences, like calling our sweat a sun tax or the humidity a slow cooker, does having those exact words give us some kind of power over how we endure the seasons? It's definitely something to ponder the next time you find yourself out on a sidewalk skillet doing a shade hunt. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, stay cool out there, and I'll see you next time.